an actress who started walking the road before it was cool, acceptable, even permissible. I'm with Tannishtha Chatterjee. Thank you so much for being on Filmy Cafe.
Thank you, and thank you very much for that introduction and all those epithets. Thank you.
So, when you started walking down this road, probably didn't have many takers in the sense of many supporters, many other people that were doing it. How's the walking?
It's actually been really, really interesting. And you're absolutely right. You know, the first time I came to a big film festival, it was Toronto and Berlin, and it was with a German film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting that Florian's film Colonial is premiering tonight, and that's the film that I first, came in as a lead actor and traveled to all these A-list festivals.
Yeah.
And I want to meet him, in a few hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, at that point of time, like Shadows of Time or Brick Lane, I mean, they were all sort of foreign productions that I was doing, which was bringing me to all these international forums.
Mm-hmm.
And what has shifted and changed in a very positive way is that Indian films are doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last few years, all my films, except for Siddharth, which was Richie Mehta's film, which is a Canadian film,
right?
All the other films that I've traveled to, I had Monsoon Shootout in Cannes and Jal in Busan. They're all Indian productions with Indian directors, and now Parched and Angry Indian Goddesses, Island City winning Venice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that is what the shift is, and I think it's really important that our filmmakers who always had the talent and the knack to tell very different kind of stories are now also somehow finding the money and the support to do that.
Right. So this is not the first time that you have done the festival circuit. You've done it many times before. This is not your first time in Toronto. So tell us, you're a pro at it. Tell us about the festival circuit and what keeps you bringing, obviously the films bring you back to Toronto, but what are your thoughts on being at the Toronto International Film Festival this year with not just one, two films?
I think it's overwhelming because both the films are female-centric films.
Mm-hmm.
And Parched, as you've seen last night, is about 3 women.
Yeah.
And Angry Indian Goddesses is about 7 women.
Multiplication is happening.
Yes, and so that is what is really interesting. That a lot of times women or actresses always played the wife or the girlfriend or the male protagonist. And what is changing and shifting, and Indian cinema majorly, I think, even in mainstream now, I think it's finding a voice with female protagonists. Films like Queen or even Tanu's Manu Returns or Kahani, all these films doing well at the box office, that we're bringing back women again back into storytelling as protagonists. It used to be always there. I mean, in the black and white era, Wahida Rahman or Meena Kumari, they were all like big stars where people went to see Nargis Dutt, their films, and the stories were centered around them. Yeah. But somewhere in the middle, it became a very male-centric industry, which is true all over the world. Yeah. But with more women filmmakers coming in, and also men like Pandarin wanting to work with 7 women and telling a women-centric story. I think our desire to work in these stories as actresses is that we do get to play roles which are far more layered and complex and doesn't really have a one unidimensional thread to the character as you've seen the film yesterday. And that's why it's really interesting and exciting and to be back in TIFF. Brick Lane was a film which was by a woman director and very female-centric film. But a lot of times, we don't get to play these roles.
Yeah. I wonder, do you feel the lines between, because you've been doing this for so long and you've done such varied variety of work, do you feel the lines between so-called mainstream cinema and offbeat cinema are blurring, or are they still pretty clear?
I think they are blurring with even mainstream actresses like Deepika or Kamlana. They're Vidya Balan. They're trying to do different things, and they have done. And even actors like Ranbir Kapoor, I think, takes a lot of risk. Like he did a Rocket Singh back then. He tried to do a Bombay Velvet. So I think I think it is blurring, and it will only blur more when this sort of a marriage will keep happening. That directors will try different actors, and the stars will try to do different things. Like, I'm so happy that Mr. Ajay Devgan
Yeah.
has produced this film. He has supported it. I think it's a huge support, and it really means a lot because he himself in his career has always balanced things. He's gone and done a Prakash Jha film, and then he's also done Singham Returns.
Right.
He's constantly done that.
Right.
And I think, it shows that something is changing and shifting when he does a film like Drishyam, and then he produces a film like Parched.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that Leena and Asim are very good and close friends of his,
Yeah.
he also believed in their story and the creativity and the fact that he wanted to be somehow a part of this kind of storytelling, which is really interesting.
Do you find you've been able to maintain an independent sort of thought process when picking the films you want to pick, or are there constraints on you in terms of, do you think about these things? I'd like to be seen in the mainstream space more, I'd like to be seen in bigger films more. Do these things play on your mind when you're picking films, or when you're going about your day-to-day, or it's not even on there?
It's not, because you can never predict what is going to be big or small.
Yeah.
Sometimes the smallest film becomes a wonder, and sometimes a big intended blockbuster like just falls flat.
Right.
So I don't think you can ever predict. So I just pick up films where I like the role, I like the setup, I like the director, and I like the script, of course, and the people involved in the film. And the Parched definitely was that. Asim and Leena are very good friends even before we sort of started working on this. In fact, it was an idea that Leena and we had discussed, and it was a story, like my character's story was something that I had sort of encountered while I was shooting for Road Movie.
Right.
And I shared it with her, and then she got fascinated and she wrote an entire screenplay.
Right.
So, things like these happen with many people, and I think I go on to that, sort of gut feeling, and it's not about what is going to be big or small, we don't know. And that's I guess that was the sort of tuning and wavelength that Asim, Leena and we sort of had, which is why we said, let's do something together. And it was the passion of it. And we are the follower of Gita.
Right.
कर्म किए जाओ फल की आशा फल आएगा
कभी ना कभी तो आएगा.
नहीं, it's not about that. It's a process that
Correct.
excites us as artists, and because you can never predict what is going to be the outcome of anything. I mean, that's how life is. You can't predict what is going to happen the next second.
Yeah.
So it's pointless to think, oh, should I do this because that will give me that. I'm not that calculator at all. I go by gut feeling.
Yeah. What does your gut feeling tell you about Parched?
It's beyond gut now. We've already made the film. We've already made the film, and now it is actually for the audiences to react, embrace whatever they feel. For us, we've made a film with utmost integrity and honesty, and with a lot of hard work, passion, everything. We've had fun, we've had tears, we've had fights, we've had everything that human emotions and relationships and everything that goes through, and we've become closer and closer and closer while doing this film. And there is something to it that when I saw the reaction of the audiences yesterday after the first public screening that we've had, it just was overwhelming, and it felt that people enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it.
You were referring to the premiere, the public screening last night, and one of the audience questions was, what will happen with this film in India? And Leena said, I want to release it just the way it is. Do you feel that's going to be possible? What's your...
Well, we'll fight for it.
Yeah.
And it has to be, because artists, I think, all over the world do that. and we have expressed something which has been embraced by a world audience. Look at the reviews that have come out today, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So why should we not show it to the people from whom those stories have come in the way that the world is saying is beautiful?
Yeah.
You know, so we will fight for it, and we need to, when we all are together in it. We have a huge team.
Yes, yes.
So I think our power will let us sail through this journey as well, which is like the last. It's like a marathon, na? Last more stamina, so we all pull that through.
Well, all the very best for the fight forward. Lots of love and warm wishes from the audiences in Toronto. May it propel the film to the rightful destination, which is the audiences.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, Tannishtha.
Absolutely.
Wish you all the very best.